Morning. We're gonna play some meaning wave. Good morning. Good morning to you. All right, there we go. That's a little better. Now I am unmuted, which makes it all better because now it's there's so many little steps that go into actually doing the the audio correctly and making sure that the songs are playing and making sure that everything is working towards the good of the show, of course. Uh, this is the Poetry Studio. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We got everything set up. You saw those little black flashes in the beginning of the studio. I was trying to make sure that my camera was fixed because I realized it wasn't working from the start, but that's okay. We're here now. This morning we got Talmoni and Dan in the house, who said, the music is just what I needed this morning. Yes, that was Akira's instrumental entitled The First Function of Mythology. So it backs Joseph Campbell talking about the philosophy of mythology, but it's just a beautiful little song on its own. And believe it or not, it was not the one I meant to play. I meant to play another one, and then that one went on, and I was like, all right, the fates have decided. You've caught the pencil sharpener, Akira. Yes, indeed. I found it lying around a school I was working as a custodian at for a short time when I came here to Winchester. And it was just lying there, and I asked the custodian, I was like, do they need this? And they were like, no, they changed all the new pencil sharpeners years ago. I was like, can I have it? And then I got it. Fool Killer's in the house. Good morning, Fool Killer. Good to see you. Good to see everybody this morning. So, you know what's weird is I say that this show is at 7 a.m. and then I get on at 7:30. Like, I like coming on at 7:30, but then it doesn't give me as much time to write. I either have to commit to the 7-bit or just say 7:30 and work with it. Regardless, it is good to be here. So this morning, I have a poem of my own that I'm going to be working on, which is Old Glory. But I also had received a message of a poem that was a flash of inspiration from our own Talmoni and Dan. I didn't get to respond to you, Dan, yesterday because my day was just chock full. But if you are interested in having me read this poem on the stream, I love it. It is powerful. It really hits pretty strong. So if you are interested, I would love to start our stream off with a reading of the poem that you wrote and sent me via message. If that's something you feel so inclined, I don't know how to speak this morning, to have me do. And he says, if you want to, go for it. I'm going to trim down our desktop audio and pause the music as we prepare to read Who Were We? A powerful poem, as with the first line starts with envisioning the pearly gates, so kind of looking back on a life. A very important poem, I think, for the time as well. Envisioning the pearly gates, I see St. Peter face to face. What will he find inside his book of lives rewound? Let's take a look. Who we were while others sang, while their joyful bells they rang. Did we join that happy noise, or jealous? Did we spurn their joys? Who were we when children cried from fears long bottled up inside? Did we throw caution to the wind, with aching hearts take them in? Who were we while cannons boom, bringing war and death and doom? Forsaking comfort did we fight, and hold our ground for what is right? Who were we while blood is spilled, when the guilty and the innocent are killed? Were we the ones to lend a hand, to come together and make a stand? Not long now my time has come. Old and frail have I become. What sort of welcome will we find when we leave this world behind? Wow. There's a lot of, I do a lot of I try to do a lot of fancy things on this stream for when I do my own writing. I love the weird enjambments, things like that. But sometimes you just say it straight and it says it right. And so I really do admire the work that you sent me, Telamoni and Dan. Really appreciate this poem. This is Who Were We by Telamoni and Dan. So yeah, I think it's really good. You just it cuts straight to the quick on it. And frankly, I might take this and put it up. Well, I don't have a wall now. I used to have a wall of poems. I have to probably reconfigure what I've got behind me, try to make this a little more of an aesthetic. Disco Newsome is in the stream. Hey, Disco. So I used to have a wall of poems that were all that were like all the poems of people that I really enjoyed reading, and I had to take it down because I was trying to rearrange all the decor that's in here. But I have to restore that wall so I can put this on it. So thank you. Welcome to the Poetry Studio again, Disco. So good to see you. LJ Gibbons says Wick. Whoa, he's really, really impressed with it. And we are in here. So today, I was thinking about reworking a poem, patriotic poem that I wrote on the fly for somebody. It's a good poem. I put it through the works with my writers group, and they tore it to shreds, which is good. That's the point of a writers group. But of course, if anybody else has any other requests, any other musings, adventures, quibbles, exciting, fun weirdnesses, feel free to just drop them in, redeem some of those channel points. But that's my project for this morning. Thank you again, Telamoni and Dan, for helping open up our stream. And as always, if you've written something or you have something you'd love to share, feel free to whisper it to me. Shreds is good. It means you build back stronger. Yes, exactly. Exactly. This poem, I think it will really build back stronger when it's all said and done, of course. Because, you know, that's the funny thing about writing poems on the fly is a lot of times I get a good first draft out, but it's always still a first draft. And people will be okay with that, and it's okay with that when we do that on the stream. But I'm always like thinking, oh man, if I had changed that one or two things, it would have been really, really awesome. Let's bring up our typewriter camera. Oh no! Oh no! Why is my typewriter camera not here? Let's see if we can get this right. What are we gonna do? Oh, there we go. Typewriter camera. Success! Actually, here we go. Then I'm small in the corner too. There we go. A little better. I was going to switch out the typewriter this morning, didn't have time. I have a new typewriter that I'll be bringing in tomorrow. And believe it or not, it may be so big that it might be some trouble for the typewriter camera to see it. It's a gigantic machine. An Olympia SG-1. 1956, I believe is the year of it. I recently refurbished a Platinum, and the typeface is small too, which I don't like the small typeface. There's big face and small typeface. Telamoni and Dan, you subscribed. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Really, really, really appreciate it. You've launched an emote fireworks in the chat. Oh my goodness, that's great. And you brought up the wonderful little animation of our friend Oliver, who with channel points, you can bring Oliver onto the stream as well. That one day, that's going to be an exciting stream. But this was awesome. Thank you again so much, Telamoni and Dan, for subscribing. Really, really appreciate the support. I'm just going to probably just do it as a left justified poem. A new thing that I've been also experimenting with on my edits is not worrying about formatting until I've finished the straight down draft. So like the way that this draft looks right now, you see all my scribbles, looks like this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work it, and then when I really like the way the lines are, then I'm going to start doing positioning. LJ is attempting a haiku. Non-naturistic in nature. Health, spendthrift, passed by joy. Life shifted, death playing coy. Angels down, God deploy. Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay, so health, spendthrift, past joy. So I'll read that a little more properly now. All right. I get the health, spendthrift, past joy. Life shifted, death playing coy. Angels down and God deploy. I like it. All right. Uh-oh. What's going on with my ink? There's something going on with my ink. Because we run out of ink. These scoops don't burst themselves automatically. Also, Telemonian Dan, since you have now subscribed to the channel, you now get to unlock the typewriter emoji. Yes, indeed, we have a typewriter emoji here in the house. Look at this. That's not what I want. There you go. You can now float around all of Twitch, spreading vintage vibes. That is actually really cool. LJ said that the haiku was for old Leaky Man Butt, but it's based on some of his work, and that is actually very apt to what he kind of likes to write. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the thing. I have a knack for reading. poem is about the American flag. I've actually started to introduce stanzas, which the original poem didn't have. We had a friend, it's funny, LJ says it's like to hear him read something ultra generic with his take on it. We have a friend, as I think many people have a friend like this, where you have someone where just they're enthusiastic about everything. And I'm not talking about myself, it's actually my friend Greg. And we would joke and we would make him read things to see how he would be able to like spin a positive spin on it. And it was hilarious. So yeah, I mean, hey, if one day you could tell me to read any poem in the world, technically, as long as it isn't too inappropriate, using the read poem redeem on the channel. I think actually I read Jabberwocky on here once. You might have been here for that, Dan. That was fun. I love Jabberwocky was a fun read. So the poem that I'm working on is meant to be, it started out as just kind of a big praise of the flag and then a little hinting at darkness. This is going to be more balanced. There's going to be a contrast, and the contrast is the flag in the sky and people on the ground is basically it. And I might have to change some words already because I need to keep those last lines. A little less like a bat signal. It's more like the sun, and like how we have. It's kind of like an ideal. A little less like a bat, but I think the bat signal is an interesting metaphor. I wouldn't use it in a poem, but it's something else to think about. When people raised a flag, they're kind of like trying to signal something. But this is more like, oh, look at that flag high up there. Can we reach it? Type of thing. And this poem was written before the election. And then it got, it kind of grew in meaning as everything after the election happened. And I'm not going to get into the details of it. But the point being is that it's really interesting how symbols can be so idealistic in some ways, in a good way. That's the whole point of a symbol. You reach to a symbol. So the flag kind of pulling and pushing with the flag on that. LJ Gibbons says poetry is one of the best ways to expand on language by trying to describe the indescribable. Yeah, poetry breaks reality a lot, and that's what I like about it. the bridge of your nose could be a metaphor for, reaching to your mentality. Like it takes things that are mundane and normal and cracks them open in a way. Fiction can do that too. Nonfiction doesn't. It's all. I like what poetry does for the world. And if you're just tuning in, we're writing a poem about the flag of America. And I am got a little bit of a writer's block right now. I gotta sit with this for a minute. This is definitely not going to be a final draft because I'm trying to illustrate the contrast, and it turns out that I've kind of reached this point in my mind where I thought I knew what I wanted to say, and then suddenly it's disappeared. Not that that's something that should stop me, it's just got to keep persisting. This is where I'm at right now. It's probably because I wrote that line. That line's powerful. I need to put that line in between things. Oh, goodness. I'm going to read chats because I don't know what I'm writing here. Telmoni Dan says, a perfect analogy for poetry just popped into my head. Poetry is like a geode, taking what would otherwise appear to be plain, ordinary stone and cracking it open to reveal the hidden beauty of the more fantastical crystals within. I like it. LJ is dropping more poetry in the chat. Pain has an element of blank. It cannot recollect when it began. There was a time when it did not exist. It has no future but itself, its infinite realms contained by the past, enlightened only to perceive more pain. That's powerful. I should be reading these from this screen over here. Perfect. Got it. Unlocked it. That might be too obvious of a line, but that's all right. LJ is bragging about his rock collection. I used to have a rock collection. I still have a rock collection somewhere. It's probably back at home. Really close on this poem. Really close. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I should have read it first at the beginning so that you guys could compare. So the nuance here, it's a very weird nuance, is that America is America even if America isn't America. Not saying that, I'm not suggesting that America isn't America. That's a kind of a tongue twister for you guys. But the point being is I don't know if that's correct even, but that's where my heart is on this poem. Tony Dan says, "LOL, I know exactly what you mean." Oh yeah, exactly. That there is something more transcendent about America, the country, than America, the reality. That's again not suggesting that America itself has gotten to that point, but there's always that fear, and it's kind of channeling that fear at the same time as celebrating what we have. And I think I found it. I was suggested to not put the last two words of freedom in the poem, and I absolutely rebelled against this suggestion. Alrighty. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in today. This is poem Old Glory. After this, I'll probably be ending the stream. LJ asked, how did the vaccination go? Thank you for remembering. I didn't get the chance to write a poem for them, but the vaccination went perfectly fine. Maybe I'll write a poem for when I go get my second dose. It went well. Yeah, I recently got the vaccine. I do some contract work for one of the hospitals, so as a hospital worker, I kind of got that, and I'm very thankful for it, and I'm hoping that things go well with that. And regardless of your opinion on the vaccines, I think it was a good thing for me to go and do it, and I'm excited to see what the future holds with all that. But this is the poem Old Glory about the American flag. You have survived winds of time like hurricanes, tearing at your fibers. And this is enough of a miracle. Cloud height persistence of red, white, blue contrasting and weaving together, apart, tapestry of a dream. How do you rise each morning, claiming the sky, flagpoles pushed by dirt-stained hands towards the sun? These fingers pulling at your strings, pulled at the blood-stained battlefields, chains of slaves, the stone cornering the skyscrapers. We reach, we climb towards your waving firmament. I'm going to change that to we reach, we stumble, we climb towards your raving firmament. Storms are still coming. Fiery rockets flaring, blinding us to the field of stars. And even in the darkness, I know that your constellation will last past our confusion, soaring above us as we claw at the dirt of freedom. That is Old Glory. I hope you guys liked it. I hope that it moved you in some way. And I think that writing about the country is an interesting thing because, and I got this in the writers group, is that people have very different views of the country. And so the great thing about poetry, and there's a bit of this in Meaning Wave too, with all the contradicting philosophers, is that if you read it, you hear me read it, you go, no, I don't really agree with that. I don't think that's the right interpretation. Well, then that's fine. Currently, that's part of my feeling on this, and it was my feeling back in October when I wrote it too. I hope you guys liked it. And I noticed there that I needed to add a line after the skyscrapers, because if I'm going to talk about both the good and the bad that our country's been through, where we pull, we reach, we stumble, we climb, is probably the best sequence of words to use. So I want to thank everybody again for being here that has been in the chat. We had Disco stop by, Telemonian Dan, we shared his poem, Fool Killer, LJ Gibbons, and then there's me. And it is awesome. And there's Disco. Disco is still here. Anybody actually, what? Yeah, because you're not streaming today, Disco, but we'll have to try see if we can raid you tomorrow if you're going to be on around this time. So Steve Disco Newsome is one of the amazing, awesome DJs of Twitch, which we always we celebrate DJs here at our channel because it's kind of just the coolest thing that I've discovered about Twitch is that you could basically just run through and always have these amazing live creators mixing together tracks, having the soundtrack of our lives there. So it's really awesome. Thank you again for being here. Thank you again, everybody. We are going to close out at this point. This has been the Poetry Studio, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. And we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be back tomorrow at exactly 7 a.m. I'm going to do it. And then if you come in at 7:30, that's fine too. But I'm going to be here at 7, and we're going to do a nice full hour, and it's going to be everything. So, hey, that's true. Oh, Disco, when is your set with David Morales? When is that happening? Drop that info in the chat so that people know. I think that I saw that yesterday. It's going to be really cool. See you guys tomorrow. And if you decide to come, I will be here at 7 a.m. sharp. I am absolutely committed to this. I need to be here. I need to get on time. See you all.